This is the road coming off of 119 and going up to Eolia way. It goes on up into Franks Creek community and it ends up this way. This is the road that starts at the post office at Eolia and goes into Bowman Creek, and it ends about here, and it's 1 mile from here to here. This is a small creek coming down through this way. And when I was a kid, I was born here at this house. I was starting with this house right here at the mouth of the creek. There had been 2 people died with cancer and 1 with MS. The next house here, 1 died with cancer. This house here, 3 died with cancer. This one here, 1 died with cancer. This house here, 1 died with cancer and 1 is still living that has cancer. This house here, there was 1 kid born here that had polio. The house that I was born in, there've been 6 people that lived in it died with cancer. 3 months ago, I found out that I had cancer. At this house next door, 2 people died with cancer, 1 still living that has cancer, and 1 had polio. This house here, 1 died with cancer. The house here, 1 died with cancer. This one, 1 died with cancer. This house, 2 died with cancer. This house, 1 died with cancer. This one over here, 1 died with cancer. At these 15 houses, there've been 22 people died with cancer in this community. There's something wrong. Too many people for the size of the community has died with these diseases.
Listen to the lambs, all are crying. Listen to the lambs, all are crying. Listen to the lambs, all are crying.
I like the community here. I grew up in this community my whole life. It's sort of sheltered though. I like it.
It's small and everybody knows everybody else, and it's a good place to live.
I think the community it's a good community. I think the economy is down a lot. I think the people are good.
It's a nice community. It has extremes. It has extreme beauty and extreme poverty. The people are close-knit and tend to help one another, and very self-sufficient. A lot of them are self-sufficient. They know how to repair their own cars and build their own homes and grow their own foods.
We have a lot of sickness. I have some friends that have some illnesses.
We counted 57 people that we knew have died with cancer or have cancer.
And it seems to be hitting the younger people now, and many, many incidences of cancer, tumors. Within 5 mile area, there are 7 cases of lupus, and there are 6 cases of multiple sclerosis. And that is probably too high an incident for an area that's so rural and doesn't have a large amount of population. Within that 5 mile area, there's probably 20 families.
It's not really fair because a lot of the diseases that people do have here, they don't get the health care that they need. And a lot of them, if they do have the health care, they have to go away for it. So, and a lot of them can't afford it. It's really not fair.
I know my sister had to go to Lexington in Roanoke, Virginia to be treated.
You know, there's nowhere around here that can treat them. People have to go different places, different states, and at least to Lexington or Louisville to be treated for it. But we could do better with the major diseases like that.
Multiple sclerosis and lupus both since they don't know what causes it, it's hard for them to classify it. But most people classify it as autoimmune diseases. There are many people who feel like there are environmental causes for that. I chose to go to Vanderbilt University in Nashville for care because there are some doctors there who are treating multiple sclerosis as a bacterial infection of the spine instead of viral.
With MS, you go into remission and you can have an outbreak, which is called a relapse, and have it, you know, some people just have it once in a lifetime, some people have it every little bit, but I've went a year without a relapse.
Our greatest symptom is fatigue. It's extreme fatigue. You're tired all the time. And then I cannot tolerate sunlight or artificial light. When I work at school, I have to keep the lights off in the library where the children read or wherever. If there's any kind of fluorescent lighting overhead, it makes me very tired. It takes its toll very fast.
Last summer, I couldn't work or anything. I was off for a month because I was so weak and dizzy and just stumbling and falling.
It's taken away some independence. There was a 6-month period that I had to wear glasses, sunglasses all the time, inside and outside. And there was about a 3-week period that I wasn't able to drive a vehicle. So it took away quite a bit of independence.
I think there needs to be a study like people with MS and lupus and everything, and what's the contributing factor to all of us, the common factor. I mean, like the people I know raised around the river on the Eolia, Partridge area. And I know Cumberland, it's in Harlan County, but there's a lot of people with MS there too.
I've grown up here, and I live in Cumberland now, but I'm originally from Letcher County, and I grew up at Oven Fork, which is right below Eolia, and it's just where I was born and raised, and I just love it. I know that I have a cellular immune deficiency, and I'm still sort of confused about the whole thing. I've been sick for probably around 5 years, but in the last 2 years since I've had my daughter, I've gotten worse, so I've been back and forth to doctors and talking to people in the area and become more aware of what's going on, and the fact that there are other people near me that are near where I grew up that are really sick. If you look healthy and you look normal and you are walking around, that's been one of the hardest things, I think, is people realizing that there is a problem. I mean, I've had people in my family who think, you know, there's nothing wrong because I look healthy and because and I mean, even doctors. I've even gone to doctors. That's been another thing. It's been really scary is going into an emergency room, you know, and being blown off. I went to see Dr. Thompson, and within probably 4 or 5 weeks, he was able to tell me that I had this cellular immune deficiency.
The question is, what does Teresa have? And the fact that this time is that she's seen a number of physicians. It's pretty clear that one component of this is something that acts kind of like I don't know whether you've heard the term chronic fatigue syndrome. And nobody knows what it is, except that it is. It's a real entity, but what causes it isn't known.
The one other thing that has really played a big part in this is the extreme fatigue that I have.
If she does something, like she just works a little harder, or maybe just has a really good time but spends longer doing that, she's going to pay a price. The price is that she's going to hurt more, she's going to feel just incredibly tired, almost be unable to move.
My body won't fight disease. It either doesn't recognize it or I can't make the antibodies to fight it once I get it.
Well, the disease that Teresa Halcomb may have, the patient that we may, and we'd have to say at the present time we're not sure about that, but a large group of these people that have non-AIDS immunodeficiency basically used to die of infection because their immune system couldn't make antibodies to whatever. So in other words, you might and I might get a strep throat, they'd die of it rather than and get over it.
I have always been very independent and worked and done things for myself, drove a car, took care of myself, went wherever I wanted to go, and it's just little by little had major effects on my life. I've had to quit work. That was the first thing. Second thing is, the most important thing is the ability to take care of my daughter. You know, she's almost 2, and 2-year-olds are very active, and you have to chase them a lot, and sometimes I just can't do it.
They're still trying to find out what her problem is and what's causing her illness, and she does have some of the same symptoms that other people with lupus and MS have. I have had a sister who died of lupus. Losing a sister is really hard. It's one of the hardest things I've ever had to go through. I've really missed her. She was a teacher like myself, and we rode to school together, and it's really been hard.
We were extremely close, and you know that had an effect on me then because we were always very close. She had a great sense of humor, and she was just a wonderful person. She just was just a wonderful person, and it had an effect on me then, losing her, because all of us kids were so close to her. But I think it's had even a bigger effect on me now, knowing that I'm so sick, and knowing that I'm 32 and she died at 33, and it's just, I don't mean to be so emotional, but this is just reality. You know, this is just the way it is. You just don't know.
I think there's something environmental, yeah, and I think that's the big one. Water, the wells.
There's a lot of people in the Cumberland River area that seem to be afflicted with some sort of disease like that. If it is environmental, I think someone really needs to look into it and see.
The mines, the water, the minerals that went into the water, I feel it's the water.
Back in these mountains and above here, it's all old abandoned coal mines, and they're probably full of water. You know, maybe poison waters are coming into these streams and into these wells.
My dad mentioned all the slate dumps, and he said I can tell you what it is right now. He said it's all these slate dumps around here.
It is the only industry in the area, and if there is pollutants in the water, it has to come from somewhere.
In a little town out in Nebraska, that there was a lot of leukemia in this one town. And then they found that there was a virus that seemed to actually be coming from the cattle. They could never prove that that association was the case, but then they got, well, these cattle all used this one well, and the people drank water from this one well too, although they all purified it and stuff. So never documented, but there definitely was a ring of cancer around this little town in Nebraska. So, is it something environmental, you know, in the water or in the food, or is it just bad luck, which is also true? But there are also some chemicals and things, particularly, that predispose to leukemia. That could be in the water and could be, you know, a lot of other things.
So there's going to have to be some documentary work before we can get the health department to come in and decide that there needs to be an investigation of the area. One problem with that, from the doctor that I spoke to at the health department, is that if they sample the water and do a test on it, they need to know what types of toxins or pollutants to look for. And since they don't know the cause of lupus or MS, that doesn't narrow the field down for them. It makes them hard to analyze that water and decide what's in it.
It's something that I definitely think there's a problem in the environment and in the area that's causing this, because there's too many people that are sick with the same type of diseases. It's not been an easy thing to live with this, and I certainly don't want, I don't want my daughter to have to live with it. I don't want anyone else to have to go through it, so it's something that we definitely need to look into and check into.
Come on, sister, with your ups and downs. Wanna go to heaven when I die. The angel waiting for to give you a cry. I wanna go to heaven when I die. Oh, listen to the lambs, all are crying. Listen to the lambs, all are crying. Listen to the lambs, all are crying. I wanna go to heaven when I die. Mind my brother, and your soul be lost. I wanna go to heaven when I die.